Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest scouting report on Lakers TV. I'm Mike Trudell. Assistant coach Brian Shaw. The Phoenix Suns are in town the second time. This is the fourth meeting of this season. Haven't seen them in a while, though. They made some trades, and Marcin Gortat, for example, coming off the bench now. What do you think about this team that's a little bit different from what you saw last time?
It is a different team, but you know, they're a hungry team right now. I think they're in the 10th spot, fighting to get into the 8th spot. Try to get a playoff berth, and so, because of that, they can be very dangerous. And they've won their last 2 games. So, they've got to be feeling pretty good about themselves. And as you said, Gortat is playing very, 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 very well for them. And they have a very potent bench, one of the best benches in the league in terms of point production.
The other players that came over from Orlando were Vince Carter and Mikal Pietrus. So they also joined Carter actually in the starting lineup, but Pietrus off the bench. Andrew Bynum for the Lakers will miss his second straight game with a suspension, coach. So how does that affect how you match up with the Suns?
Well, it takes away the size advantage that we obviously would have with Andrew out there, but then at the same time it gives us a little bit more versatility in terms of our defensive rotations and being able to switch screen roles, which is a big part of their repertoire. So, we've played this team, a number of times without Andrew in the lineup, and we're very familiar with them, based on our series with them in the playoffs last year in the Western Conference Finals. So it shouldn't affect us too much.
Coach, the Suns haven't been here since November, but on that November game, I think they hit something like 75 threes, or actually it was maybe 22, but it seemed every time you turned around, they were hitting another three-point shot. So it's something you have to guard against, of course, that they like to do, but what's the actual way to do that?
Well, that night they shot the lights out. I think it was one shy of an NBA record. And, one of the things, the weak side defense has to be alert and they have to communicate. But the main thing is that you cannot allow Nash to engage 2 defenders when he comes off that screen and roll. So if you have to switch and we have to play our center on Nash and our guard on the big that's rolling to the basket, it's just something that we're just going to have to do so that we don't have to get into excessive rotations, because that particular night our weak side wasn't alert and they were rolling down the basket. We had 2 or 3 guys going to the roll man and we were leaving their perimeter shooters to spot up and they were knocking it down.
One thing that the Suns do, and you mentioned Steve Nash, of course, 2-time MVP, their point guard leader, they run their screen lows a little bit lower on the court, it seems like, because he likes to get right underneath the hoop. So how do you guard against that differently from other teams in the NBA? We
have to make a stand when he gets around the hash mark and not let him get down. He's a very creative passer. His bigs who set screens for him know how to roll and space it out fairly fast. And so, he's really good at those little pocket passes, and that's why he likes to get in those little corners and crevices to set those low screen rolls. So we have to declare and make a stand on him higher, a little higher up, which will allow us more time and space to rotate.
Wanted to mention Lamar Odom, and he, of course, is the guy who steps into the starting lineup when Andrew Bynum is out. 16 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists last game. There really aren't many guys, if any, in the NBA that can come off the bench and do that in a starter's role. So what kind of value do you get from Odom being able to step in a situation like this?
Well, it's great for us to, have a guy like that with the versatility that he brings and the experience and knowledge of the game. And, he, a lot of times, is our X factor out there on the floor because, not only can he stuff the stat sheet with all the points and rebounds and assists and everything he does, but he's a matchup problem because he is playing the power forward position and he's out on the floor playing guard on offense, and power forwards aren't used to being that far away from the basket.
And then finally, quick thing on Odom, defensively he can be big too, just for being able to switch on those screen rolls and then also defend down low and on the perimeter. So we probably don't mention the defense as much as we should.
Exactly, especially a team like Phoenix where their 4 perimeter players shoot and they have 1 big that's rolling to the basket. We can switch 1 through 4 and feel confident about him staying in front of a smaller player.
All right, Coach, appreciate the update.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so it's Lakers and the Phoenix Suns tonight, 7:30 at Staples Center.